David, it's great speaking with you, man. And like, it's so funny. There's like a million things that I could talk to you about right now. I mean, we are going to talk about music because you got new music. I would, we can talk about the things that have been going on in the indigenous community and, the Pope being here. We can talk about professional wrestling, what's going on there. We can talk about what's been happening with, Drake, the big historic concert at History. I know you and I were sort of sending messages to each other about that. So I'm going to throw it to you, man. Which one do you want to start with?
No, you can start wherever you want. It's all good.
All right, let's go right into what was going on after this long weekend, man. And history was made at History when Drake and his crew brought back people that, as you said, you've worked with, and people who I've interviewed in the last 25 or so years. I
Yeah.
mean, what was the thought when you saw the announcement happen
Well,
and then
I
knowing it was
knew
going
about
on?
it. I
Ah,
knew about it. I already knew what was happening, but I was in New York working with Eric Sermon, so I wasn't able to make it to the concert. So I had people stream it for me. I was in the studio watching, but for me, it blew my mind because pretty much it was like watching my life, my career, part of my career in one concert. And I felt like I was missing it. It would have been really dope to be a part of it. Excluding like Keisha Shante and Sean Desmond, everything else is like I've worked with everybody there at some point. So that was amazing and beautiful to see, obviously hit those guys and thank them for doing that. And, yeah, that kind of like gave me a reminder. That show reminded me that I'm a monster. Like I think I'm nobody, right? So when I see that, that's just a part of my life journey and my career, and I go, wow, man, like I really made an impact. At least if I never do anything else, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it was great. I loved it. I'm glad people enjoyed it. I think that it needed to be done. I'm glad he gave props to those artists. A lot of people probably over the years, you know how music is, people, you fade away, you forget about them. And I'm sure a lot of people feel like that. I know I've worked with a lot of artists that have kind of like haven't been on top as much as before. But, as an artist, you got to keep making music, putting out, and you never know when you could get a number one. And that's one thing that E Double has taught me. I don't know if you remember the song Music when he came back with
Yeah.
music and then React. And like Eric, we talk about it all the time how it's anybody's game. Nobody knows. It's you just got to keep making your art, bro. Like, and throwing it out there, and it can stick. It's not up to us. It's up to the fans. So as long as you're making something hot, you got a chance.
In essence, finally coming back together. Like it took this to bring
Uh,
all of them back. And, I always ask those guys whenever I've had a chance to interview one or two of them over whatever project they're doing. One of my questions has always been, are you guys ever going to get back together? What's going to
right.
take? This is what it took to bring them back together. It was amazing.
Unbelievable. Hey, and hopefully this will do something like that. Like people will start making music. Like hopefully this will inspire. I don't talk to anybody, but sometimes a vibe like that can inspire people to, I'm saying, move. Let's do something or Ray. So hey, it could be a good vibe. Why not? My favorite, and I worked on a song with an Essence of Ghetto Concept called "Rest in Peace."
Yeah.
That's one of the favorite songs I worked on with an Essence. Big up in Essence. Big up Ghetto Concept, who was missed. There was a lot of artists missed, but you couldn't have everybody, I'm sure. And budgets, I don't know. And the show was pretty long, so I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to see them take that on the road.
I was
Tweak it a
actually,
little.
sorry to interrupt you. I was actually thinking to myself, this should have been the Grey Cup halftime show.
Yeah,
The U.S. got theirs at the Super Bowl. We should have something like this as a halftime show. It would kill.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, maybe it's gonna happen. Who knows, right?
And it seemed like the two other people that a lot of folks talked about, Nelly Furtado,
Yeah,
who, big love, and Sean Desmond, man. I've just been
yeah,
seeing post after post after, even people who did not, these younger folks who did not know who he was,
right.
now they're like his biggest fans.
Wow, that's great. See, and that's the other thing. Like, you bring new fans to these artists, and people don't, people discover new music. So that's beautiful and great. And there's no ego when you're doing that. Drake is not competing with anybody. Like,
No.
it's love. He's did this for love. These artists paved the way. A lot of these guys he grew up listening to, that's why he's always shows me so much love, because he knows all the work I put in, right? So I appreciate that. I wish I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get back till, when did I get back? Saturday. I was going to I had video shoot Tuesday. I was going to go to pop up at OVO Fest. I'm going back to New York for Rock the Bells tomorrow on Saturday. So you got to keep it moving, man. Stay busy,
Absolutely. Let's keep this moving too. I want to get your thoughts, of course, on the Pope making his visit to Canada and everything that was going on there. Of course, his apology to what happened. Give me your thoughts on all this.
Luckily for me, I was in the States and wasn't really on the news at all or everywhere, so I didn't get the rush of everybody, because I see everybody on social media, and I get what the church is trying to do. I've seen some stuff where they spent so much money just bringing them here that money would have been better to go back into the people. I spoke to some of the people who are involved in putting the headdress on them. I know why, the intent. A lot of people don't agree with it. I think that move caused more stir and distracted everything from what was supposed to be happening. And then, but there's a lot of older people who kind of, I've been told, needed to see that happen. So it's hard to tell anybody anything when it's not your experience. It's not my experience. I didn't go to residential school. I didn't grow up Catholic. I can't really speak on what, somebody else's experiences, but I do understand. And, I just think perhaps there's other areas we could be focusing on besides that, but I get the symbolism and what some people needed to close that chapter, perhaps. There's all kind of reasons. So myself, I just try to, spread as much awareness as I can, and, try to talk about these things in a positive way and not focus on the negative, because that's when you kind of, it's like death and grieving. When you focus on that sadness too much, it kind of can depress you and take you over. And I'm not, let's turn this around now. Now let's just close. Let's move on. What are we doing from here? Yes. What does that mean to you? I don't even know if, did anybody speak to him? But I wasn't really paying attention as much because I was in the U.S., but was the prime minister was there? It was just like, man, come on, guys. There's too much talk and not enough action. That's my opinion. That stuff could have been done when there was something, done for the people, and more of us, in a way that was in a healing. We need to heal first before you guys. I think we should have let some time pass for people to heal before you did that. But I guess maybe that was part of it. So I mean, who am I to say? Fortunately enough, some of us didn't have that experience, So I just prayers up for everybody who had to go through that, whose family was traumatized. My experience is a little different, but I do empathize and I do try to do what I do. I'm actually working on a T-shirt for Every Child Matters, for that residential school survivors to have proceeds go to where they go. Like with my NFT drop, I just, you guys can watch these government bodies do their thing and all that, or you can do your own thing. And I kind of want, if I can raise money and donate it on my own, I will, and I can. And I'm just doing my part. Sometimes we can come together. Sometimes we can do stuff on our own, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, well, let's make sure that we get a chance to talk about that again in the future when this finally happens too. Let's get now to the sport that we enjoy, professional wrestling. Hey. And what is going on over at the WWE? Vince, gone. Why he's gone? It's like a crazy story. Stephanie, Triple H who is gone. Back in, Stephanie, it's nuts. And then you're hearing what was going on in the background, and oh my goodness, who's filming the movie for this? Okay.
Well, yeah, and the sad part is we're probably going to lose the Vince McMahon biopic now.
Yeah,
I heard that's not happening. I listened to 83 Weeks. Big up Eric Bischoff. I listen to that on my drive. I find podcasts get me through the mountains fast.
Jim Cornette for me. I listen to that one all the time.
Yeah, I listen to Jim, and I've been listening to Kevin Nash's. Big up Kevin Nash. Haven't seen him in a minute. So the big thing was, you know, Vince probably going to be running the show from behind the scenes. He's just not
Yes.
going to be there. We're not going to see him. He's doing what he's got to do. Smart move by Vince. I don't think he did. I think what he did wrong was how he put the money through and covered it up. He should have been more discreet, because it's not like, from what I understand, he didn't do anything illegal. He paid the wrong way. Okay.
Yes.
And his relationships were consensual. That's from what I understand, right? And he's just paying for privacy. And, you know, if you're in this business, whether it's wrestling or entertainment or music, a lot of times that happens more than you would know, because people don't want people writing books and slandering. And, you know, sometimes you have to do that to protect your name and your brand. So I totally get it. Yeah, but okay, how are we going to move forward from here? Have you noticed the differences? I'm noticing the camera changes. And I'm pretty sure, here's the question. Okay, you remember SummerSlam with the tractor? Was that, whose idea was that? You know, is that part of the new vibe? Because I never seen anything like that before, right? I also feel that took away from the match. I also feel that this is a signal that Brock's done, because he just lost 3 times in a row. We don't need to put Roman over. So, you know, there's that. My only issue with Roman is I want Roman to win. I don't want him to always have heel wins with cheating, the Usos or somebody jumping in. I want him to have clean, dominant champion heel wins. He could still be a heel and pin.
I agree. I agree with you. That was one of the biggest problems with the Flair era when Dusty was booking. Dusty kept having Ric Flair lose or win in certain dirty ways. But before the Dusty Rhodes era, Ric Flair could win just by winning, which made him such a great champion. So I agree with you there.
That's what they're doing. What they were doing with MJF.
Yes.
AEW. He was like, I'm like, yo, he can win sometimes. It gets stale, you know, and these heels are actually good wrestlers. So why not let them, like, come on, man. And we're in a different era, so I'm like, it's not like nobody's going to notice stuff like that like the OGs do. I was watching something last night where I think it was Sami Zayn's interview with Stone Cold, and he was saying how, you know, Paul Heyman's a dinosaur because he knows so much, and just listening to, oh man, you get to get all that knowledge, and I'm like, yeah, man, some of the stuff's changed, but some of that stuff applies, you know, and it was really cool to watch him explain that, because that applies here too as well in the music business. You know, things have changed, but some things apply, right? But yeah, man, Vince not being around, that was a big deal. I kind of seen that coming with the when it hit the fan, so to speak. I'm like, oh yeah, what's he gonna do? They're gonna fire him? They have to fire him, or he has to retire or step down to save the company, right? It's just his company anymore. It's a private trading company, right? So.
But do you think that this was a situation where somebody decided it's time to get rid of Vince? Here's how we're going to go about it. Almost the fact that, even though guys probably knew in the background, but somebody decided, you know, let's leak a little. We got to move Vince out to move forward.
Maybe. I mean, it sounds a little conspiracy-ish, but maybe.
And that's what I'm throwing at. That's exactly where I'm going.
It might be. Because it looks like it came out of the blue, and you know, maybe that was the intention. If we out him, you know, like, you know, we can get rid of him, and you know, maybe that's good for business. But at the same time, dude, he's, you know, I don't know his health issues or none of that, but when you get to that age, man, you start, like, I look at my mortality now, so I can imagine being in that age. Like, you know, Vince, man, you need some time to just not be in wrestling. He's been in it his whole life. Perhaps it's good for him to, you know, perhaps he'll live longer, because that job must be stressful as hell, especially his job. And you know, he was important. All the other federations or companies were missing that guy like him. Like Eric says it all the time. Eric Bischoff says, they're missing that guy that has the last word and knows. He's like, he knows what's, you know, sometimes we don't agree with his decisions, but he kind of, you know, lasted the longest and made the most money, so he must know what he's doing, right?
I agree, but I also have to add in that I think Triple H and Stephanie have that great mindset. Maybe you have one Vince McMahon, but having a Triple H and a Stephanie McMahon can help at least get as
Equal.
close as possible to make this happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on with that in the
I,
future. And I'm
I
hoping
think
that
it's
they get rid of the scripts. That
Yeah, I think he's going to do a great job. I love how AEW does have the script. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
yeah.
Maybe kind of meet it halfway and have like bullet points, because that's sometimes
Yes.
where the magic happens. We wouldn't have got some magic. I don't know when they started doing the scripts, but it's it's a fine line, and I'm sure there's been some disasters without scripts, but
Yeah.
makes you wonder. We'll see. Hey, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. I'm enjoying it. I missed Raw at MSG. It was about to go. I'm glad to see AEW's coming here. I just scored a Intercontinental belt last week, so it's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
I agree. Absolutely agree. It's also a good time to be a music fan, too, especially when somebody like
Sure.
yourself is releasing new music, man. New album, new single. What's going on here, brother?
Level up, baby, level up. That's what we do, and we try to level up our lives, whether it be health, whether it be music, whether it be your living conditions, whatever it is you're doing, you got to level up. Beast Mode. I don't know if you heard Beast Mode, which came out in May. So I hit him with. So we started back with this. All started back last summer when I dropped Messenger,
Yes.
featuring Eric Sermon, Outlaw by Nature, and Socrates. That was the first single off the album. Then I came back with Beast Mode in May. Well, I've been doing a lot. And then I came back with Firekeepers, and now we're hitting you with Level Up before the album drops. We did the video shoot on Tuesday. That should be ready by the time the album drops. Level Up's dropping August 19th on all platforms. That features Dreezus, the big homie, Aspects, and Prognosis, who's a beast on the mic. Prognosis is from Six Nations, and he's like super, man. You just got to hear the song. He's just got this vibe, man. And all the artists are great, but he's new to the scene. But this guy does big things behind the scenes, so I'm anxious to drop the video and show what we're doing, and because Level Up is becoming a movement. We just it's becoming like a brotherhood. There's a lot of people involved and doing a lot of stuff, and we're doing a lot of good things and helping and building community stuff out there. And it's about just making moves, man. We're trying to do good. We're trying to get back to what I'm trying to do is get back to the communities, not just Indigenous communities, Toronto, Black communities. There's so many communities that support what we do as artists, musicians. I get love, and a lot of the artists I work with, we get love from every walk of life, and you got to give back to that. If you're making, I'm not saying I'm rich, but if I had $100 million, I'd be doing a lot of more giving back, and that's what I'm all about. Is I'm blessed to be able to do what I'm doing. So I appreciate the fans. I appreciate anybody who's bought anything, and whether it's my record or a record I engineered on, those fans pay for me to be able to live the life I live. And I never thought I'd be able to live like this. So I'm just blessed to be able to keep making music. So I'm just happy to be leveling up. You know what I'm saying?
Did the pandemic help you with a new focus?
I was saying in the interviews in the pandemic, I'm just doing what I've been doing. So I kind of was closed the chapter because the album dropped. So I was like, done. Okay, let me get back to the States, get back to E, get back to the squad. What are we doing, guys? I was just, okay, because it was supposed to be a one-time thing. But we had a good run, and I wrote a dope record in a year. After the pandemic was done, they're like, yo, you want to do another one? I'm like, okay. And I just got on a wave and started writing music. I kind of was writing music anyway. That's how the Outlaw by Nature album started. Yeah. I was just writing records and I got bored. I was writing music, which is kind of what happened now. I took a break after I delivered, and now I'm back on a whole other wave again. I took a month or so off, painted stuff, but now I'm like, I don't know, man. It's crazy because creating music seems to really fuel my soul. Like, I noticed this last couple of weeks when I was down in New York. I'm like, anybody who really knows me know I could be grumpy and I complain about stuff that's irrelevant, right? But it's for the love of it. You're just venting, but I really love it. I try not to tell people how much I love mixing records, because to be a mix engineer is like being like a black belt, or like, you know, like a master car painter. People don't understand. Yeah, you guys could go out there and mix records and you might get lucky, but from where the school from I'm taught, you had to apprentice and work your way up. And I worked my way up, and it took me a long time to get to the point where I'm confident enough to, like, I could walk in any studio and mix a record on the planet. And I'm proud of that, because I worked hard, because, you know, there's a lot of math involved in the gear and the music and stuff like that. And it was a challenge for me to get, you know, it's a challenge. So I like things where I have to work hard at it to get good at it. You know, some people are naturals, you know. I'm like I never even learned to play the piano. I just started playing stuff. I don't, you know, so, you know, I respect people who are like really well trained, you know what I'm saying?
Amen to that. And you know what, man? It was funny you talking about that, saying what you were saying. I feel like that when I'm doing interviews. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like that's my thing. I enjoy it. You know, you could turn around, grab somebody, throw them in that seat, and I could do an hour interview with them, and I've never met them before. You know,
Right.
when you've got your passion for it, you definitely do, and you definitely have passion in your music. You share it, and you share the success, which is why I have so much respect and love for you and what you have done over the years. Before we wrap this up, I need to make sure, is that a Hollywood Hogan shirt, or is that just a
Yeah.
Hollywood shirt?
No, this is a Hollywood Hogan shirt.
I wanted to make sure on that.
For you. I was like, you know, I usually been rocking the Level Up in my interviews, but I'm like, no. I gotta rock something wrestling. So, you know, they have this store in the tri-state area called, I'm gonna tell them and show them this when I get back, now that I'm just saying it off the cuff. It's called the Wrestling Universe. Okay. And they have 6 locations in the tri-state area.
Wow.
And it's all wrestling merch and collectibles. Okay. And I love the store. And every time I go there, I'm like, I gotta bring this to Canada. It's a passion thing. And I just love the store. You can get stuff we can't get here, right? And I think it would do well here, because we do have a lot, like, there's a lot of wrestling fans in Canada. And, you know, I think we don't have anything like that. You know, it's hard enough. At least we got Toys R Us. They don't have that no more.
Yeah, no, but I'll tell you something. Amazon. I gotta hit Amazon. I mean, I got 2 Hollywood Hogan shirts only because a buddy of mine was in Florida and went to his store there, and he was able to pick me up 2 shirts. But other than that, everything else has been like Amazon for me. So I love the fact that you have that, man.
When you walk in the store and you're like, oh, I want that. Like, you know that feeling? That's
what
it's like. That's why I got the Intercontinental Belt. I'm trying to finish a collection, and some of them are hard to find.
Yeah.
And I walk in looking for a thing, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. Like, I'm not leaving without it. That's the feeling I love. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how we feel about your music, brother. Absolutely.
Thank you, man. Album drops August 26th. Spirit of Hip Hop Elements. I just want to give you a little plug before we go. Got everyone on there, from Divine Brown to Pookie G to Choclair to Dreezus to Q Rock to Blessed to Eric Sermon to Outlaw by Nature, Aspects, Jace Martin, Crystal Schwanda, Stun from Winnipeg. Like, there's so many. There's 4 Juno Award winners. Ernie Panicoli's on it.
I'm getting shivers, man. I don't know if you can see it. I'm getting shivers.
There's tons of great music. I got Stumps, Gets from Point Blank, one of my favorite rappers. Jordan's on the album. Like, I'm forgetting so many people. There's got to be 30 artists.
Please tell me that you have video documented this stuff, and there's going to be like...
No, I just been going. And I've been doing so many records at once. This is like kind of like my thing on the side. But I'm doing this crazy project with E, you know, that he's doing called Duos, and then I'm doing, you know, some pop records, and I'm mixing this album, and I'm doing singles here, and I can't even keep track. I don't even know how many records how many songs have I worked on in my life? No clue. 1,000, 5,000. I don't know. I tried to do a mixtape one. I'm like, yo, this is like 8 volumes, and that's picking like the best songs. Like, you can't have every song though, right? There's gonna be album filler, but dude, it's incredible. I'm truly blessed. I truly appreciate being able to be on the journey I'm on, and you know, every day I'm amazed. So, you know, thanks for having me. Don't forget, August 28th.
Big love, my brother.
Thank you. Peace, brother.